Shifting gears, ladies and gentlemen, last week we had an anonymous whistleblower on. But we did not just have the anonymous whistleblower on the broadcast without first doing some checking. And Tony Gosling of Bilderberg.org, he has a radio show in England and has broken a lot of big stories over the years as a journalist. He said, no, I can vouch for this guy. He's the real deal. And his story also fit into things we'd seen in other big events, G20, NATO, you name it. They're always used to attack the general public, have military on the streets, have daytime, nighttime curfews, have badges, so they can get the police and media all trained basically on hot martial law as they ease the rest of the country's outlying areas into a softer martial law. And he made some amazing allegations that I'll have him repeat here today, but he went by Lee Hazledean, and when he was on the show, I think he said a little too much about himself. He said, yeah, I worked on this national TV show, I worked on that national TV show. Well, yes, he appeared in them, he worked on them, he produced some of them. His real name, of course, is not Lee Hazledean, the whistleblower who exposed how he had infiltrated G4S security as an employee and undercover, how security preparations for the Olympics were so poor that they were inviting a terrorist attack, how they were massing troops in the area. He also revealed that they were saying there'd be a big event. He has now, at the end of the Olympics, that would be the biggest event in recent times. He revealed himself to be Ben Fellows, an acclaimed director who has worked with Stanley Kubrick. That actually gets me a little bit envious. It's very hard for me to get envious. Fellows has also appeared in numerous popular television and theater shows. And he's made the decision to reveal his identity after having gone under a pseudonym for the purposes of radio interviews conducted over the last week because of fears for his safety. We'll find out why he's fearing for his safety. And he will recap what's happened to him. But the article with all the bullet points and why this is so important is up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Right now, Olympics whistleblower fears for safety, reveals identity, and he joins us now from England. Ben, good to have you on the broadcast with us.
Hi, Alex. It's really good to be back with you.
Recap who you are, what you discovered, and then now what started happening to make you think that you may be in danger.
Okay. Well, I wanted to do an expose on G4S. I'd heard a lot of horror stories, and I was looking for an opportunity to basically go and work for them and see what they were like, and see if these horror stories were true, because you never can really believe what other people say. You have to go and look it on the internet and join these organisations and actually find out. So when the Olympics came up, it was a perfect opportunity to go and see exactly what their working practices were like and see, what this organisation was about. And really, I got there and it was a catalogue of disasters. The X-ray machine operators didn't know what they were looking at. They said they were going to turn off the metal detectors in peak times. I was asked to take a knife through a metal detector that didn't go off, and they said, add more metal to your body, like the keys or a mobile phone, which I did, and then it went off. So really, they're not very sensitive, and as far as I'm concerned, the key job of the metal detector is to pick up metal, and they weren't. They told us about an evacuation of London, that if this was to happen, that we would be responsible for looking after the members of the public. They talked about 200,000 casket linings. When I asked them what's a casket lining, they said, it's like a plastic coffin that fits 4 people. And that, to me, got me thinking of well, why would you have that? Okay, on one hand, you could say, all right, it's the Olympics, you never know what's going to happen. There might be a huge natural disaster, an earthquake that's never happened in Stratford or something, I don't know. So you might need these. On the other hand, it reminded me of, preparation for false flags. So, this is what G4S was like. So after being there and doing the training, I went to Andy Davis, who's the Home Affairs correspondent for Channel 4 News, and I pitched him the story. I emailed him. He called me back. We had a conversation. he said, look, Channel 4 wouldn't be interested in this. There's kind of a press blackout on doing anything negative about the Olympics. We're not going to be interested, so thanks a lot. And that was it. That was the end of the call. Anyway, I mentioned his name on the radio in that exact same context. Anyway, last night, Sunday night, he rang me at home on my private home number and basically pretended that he had never spoken to me, that I didn't know him, and that I was just one big liar, and this was a major lie, and, I'm in real trouble now. And to be honest, I could have handled myself better on the call, but I got so angry at the audacity of this man. Anyway, I can prove that our relationship goes back to 2010. I've got emails. I called him for something. He emailed me. I emailed him back. We've got correspondence. So, how does he figure that one out? And so he knows who I really am, which is why I've had to come out as Ben Fellows, which is who I am. And I'm actually worried now that he's gone to G4S to tell them who I am. And so now I'm actually fearing for my safety. So I thought, look, the best thing to do is come out, tell everyone who you are, why you did it, and be the face of this thing, own it, because that's what this is all about, really, at the end of the day. I've got to leave G4S now. That's it. I'm done because I've been burnt, really, or I don't know that I have. So it's a possibility. So in that way, you can't ever go back in because, I don't want to be on private property with G4S guys.
Sure. Days after you came on Tony Gosling's show and the day after you came on our broadcast, there was a national TV report, or several of them, admitting, security problems and confirming some of what you were saying. Do you think that was damage control?
Yeah, I think so, really. They had the managing director of global events on, and, the hardest question that the journalist asked was said, well, are you sure we're going to be ready? And he said, well, I can't categorically say that we'll be ready. Well, why not? It's the Olympics. You've got to categorically say, we're ready. We're going to go at this date. It starts, So, I think that was damage control. I don't think they wanted to do that. I spoke to a journalist this afternoon who's thinking about doing the story, and, he thought that it was the same sort of thing as well, damage control and what have you. We spoke a little bit about it. So, yeah, I think it was, quite honestly.
We're going to have to continue to track this as it unfolds, but what were you originally doing this for? I mean, what gave you the instinct or the idea to try to, the inclination, I should say, to try to infiltrate this?
Well, several things, really. I'd heard anecdotally of some horror stories with people who work for the cash delivery services and things like that, keys go missing, there's general sort of mistakes. I spoke to a mother of a soldier via someone else. I have to say it was secondhand. However, she had said that her son had been in Iraq as a private soldier with G4S, come out of a bar and killed two of his colleagues. And she was claiming, or she said, that he should never have been hired by G4S because after he worked for the British Army, he had post-traumatic stress disorder, and G4S, it was irresponsible for G4S to hire him. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to sign up and go to war with these people. I'll sign up and do something else. Now, I was interested in doing the events team and being part of that because it's ad hoc. I could be in the events team for a year. It's odd weekends, event or in the week, and then I can still do all my other things because sometimes you have to be in organisations for a year or more before you start really, getting into things. The Olympics has given me an opportunity. It's been very intense. And so I've seen G4S up close and personal as they've tried to get these 10,400, people who are basically long-term unemployed quickly through a training course.
Okay, so it is literally right out of Clockwork Orange. Now,
yeah.
Now, expanding on that, now that you're revealing your name, who specifically, or what was the date of them talking about some huge event is coming at the end of the Olympics?
That's right. Right, okay. So I'm in this training class, and one of the trainers says that we are going to be involved in a I don't have my notes here with me, so I'm not quoting exactly, but, you know, a historic event in London is going to happen, and we're going to be involved. Actually, it was a defining moment in the history of London. Thank you. So that was what was said. And I said, oh, what do you mean? That's like the Paralympics, right? Because after the Olympics, Paralympics. And she went, no, this is not to do with the Olympics. This is something else. But it would be a defining moment in the history of London. And she wouldn't expand anything more. She said, but, you know, you would be involved. So I took that two ways, again, as I usually do. One version could be, well, okay, we all work for G4S afterwards and we all have permanent jobs. Fantastic, great. That's the legacy that they're going to leave Stratford, which would be a good thing, you know, employing the long-term unemployed and all that kind of thing. The other thing was, oh, my God, what do they mean that we're going to be involved in marshalling the general public, you know, dealing with the general public? What disaster could make people leave London?
Do you think that's just part of the training to see what you'd say or do, or did you see any other signs that they may be actually planning to evacuate London?
Well, as far as what happened in the room, they have 800 people a day go through this school. I don't know if there's other schools doing the same thing. There maybe so. They have 800 people a day go through this place. What these trainers say is just written down for them. They're doing it off a PowerPoint presentation. And, you know, all the commentary they do, it's all exactly the same. It's to the book. You know, they've got a script and they stick to it. So what they say is what they say. I've got a contact who is an army major in the British Army who is posted at Woolwich Barracks. And he told me that there was, from January to the Olympics, there's going to be 100,000 troops coming into London through Woolwich Barracks. And the idea is they get helicoptered in by Chinook helicopter. They go into Woolwich Barracks. They have some sort of, you know, medical or something like that, which is why he knows about it. And then they all get dispatched off to wherever they're going next. You know, it's like a gateway kind of. And
you were saying it was UN, NATO, foreign troops. All right. Well, we're going to continue to watch this. We appreciate you coming on the broadcast, and hopefully down the road, are you going to be able to release any audio, any video of anything that happened inside of the United Nations PR event at the Olympics, or is this going to be basically the end of this?
Well, you know, they know who I am now. So, you know, I'll certainly be releasing the conversation that I've had with Andy Davis. As for the training thing, not really. We have to play it by ear, I think, and see how it goes. But what I don't want to do now is sort of upset people so much that I actually get physically harmed. You know, so I'm actually a bit worried now.
Well, yes, if what you're saying is completely accurate, or what they told you is accurate, then you are a key witness to something that is so big they may not be able to even reverse it, despite the fact it's been exposed. But we've gotten whistleblowers before other big events. I hope that the people you were talking to were misinformed, but I doubt that's the case. Thank you so much for the time. There goes Ben Fellows, whistleblower and director, TV producer. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.